From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are following at this hour. The Pennsylvania man charged with fatally shooting, then beheading his own father and posting it on YouTube said on the stand Wednesday that the killing was Plan B after trying to arrest his father for what he called false statements and treason. Justin D. Moan, age 33, took the stand in a suburban Philadelphia courtroom on the third day of his trial on murder and other charges stemming from the January 30th, 2024 homicide of his father, Michael F. Moan. Moan, dressed in a blue sport coat, shirt, and tie with his arm shackled to his waist, spoke clearly without any apparent emotion for more than 2 hours of direct testimony and cross-examination. Responding to questions from his attorney, Stephen Jones, Moan said he shot his father in the bathroom of the family's Levittown home after telling him he was going to arrest him. Moan said his father, who he said was an experienced martial artist, told him he would kill him before he let that happen and reached for the gun. Unfortunately, he resisted, Justin Moan said, adding, "I was hoping to perform a citizen's arrest on my father for, ultimately, treason." He described a list from his notebook shown during the trial that had the lines boom and slice as his plan B and said he expected his father to go along with the citizen's arrest. He said he differed politically from his parents, describing them as on the left. He told the court he believed his father wanted to stop him from becoming a politician similar to President Donald Trump, and that his father gave false statements in an unrelated civil case Justin Moan brought in federal court. Asked why he beheaded his father, he said he wanted to send a message to federal government workers to meet his demands, which included their resignation, as well as a cancellation of public debt, among other things. He said he didn't do it out of hatred for his father or to cause trauma to his family. His mother, Denise Moan, cried in court at the end of the direct questioning from his attorney. We'll have more about this story on our YouTube channel. A click-to-cancel rule, which would have required businesses to make it easy for consumers to cancel unwanted subscriptions and memberships, has been blocked by a federal appeals court just days before it was set to go into effect. The Federal Trade Commission's proposed changes, adopted in October, required businesses to obtain a customer's consent before charging for memberships, auto-renewals, and programs linked to free trial offers. The FTC said at the time that businesses must also disclose when free trials or other promotional offers will end and let customers cancel recurring subscriptions as easily as they started them. The administration of President Joe Biden included the FTC's proposal as part of its Time is Money initiative, a government-wide initiative that was announced last year with the aim of cracking down on consumer-related hassles. The FTC rule was set to go into effect on Monday, but the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit said this week that the FTC made a procedural error by failing to come up with a preliminary regulatory analysis, which is required for rules whose annual impact on the U.S. economy is more than $100 million. The FTC claimed that it did not have to come up with a preliminary regulatory analysis because it initially determined that the rule's impact on the national economy would be less than $100 million. An administrative law judge decided that the economic impact would be more than $100 million threshold. The court decided to vacate the rule. While we certainly do not endorse the use of unfair and deceptive practices and negative option marketing, the procedural deficiencies of the Commission's rulemaking process are fatal here, the court wrote. The FTC declined to comment on Wednesday. And finally, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said a brief pause in some weapons deliveries to Ukraine was part of a temporary pending review of certain munitions left in America's stockpiles. Speaking to reporters after a Southeast Asian regional security conference in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Rubio said the pause was mischaracterized as a withdrawal of U.S. support for Ukraine. That decision, unfortunately, was mischaracterized, he said. It was a pause pending review on a handful of specific type munitions that frankly is something that is logical that you would do, especially after an extended engagement that we saw both in defense of Israel and in defense of our own bases. That's the news for this hour. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.